Okay, good morning, everybody. It is Erin Reed with Erin Reed Makes, and we're back on our Wednesday card making series. Can't believe we're up to 16 already. It means like we're 16 weeks into the year. It's crazy business. All right, today I wanted to show you a fun technique with stencils that is using your paintbrushes. And just really quickly, when you're using brushes with stencils, you want to use a brush that's got like a flat. They're usually short and stubby. Sometimes you'll see them with like a little bit, they almost look like a makeup brush. They're kind of rounded. This one actually has some shorter bristles and some longer bristles. You can see that there's a couple that are like that. And then there's this one, which is a purely flat one. Those are the ones that I prefer. The colors of handles can vary greatly. There's some, let me show you, there's a really big one I have. It's just off camera. Let me see. So here's some that I have that are really, really big ones. If you can tell, I have used it with previous stuff. So you can get them large, small. These are all from Dynasty brushes. This one actually is from a designer. Her name is Tracy Moreau. But I think they work great. You can even use this with paints. You can use it with ink. You can use it with all kinds of stuff. Today we're doing it with ink. All right, so I also am really into flowers right now, and my son and I were working on a project, which that video is going to go live tomorrow for his school. It's a really cute little concept about fundraising and learning how to make a product, and he created a kit. It's really adorable. Good morning, everybody. Oh, you forgot I got engrossed from the get-go. Hi, Joan, how you doing? So, we were playing around with all these flowers because he was making a boy version he made an airplane and a unicorn. These are the little craft kits. Again, it's going live tomorrow so you guys can see what that's all about. His ideas, I kind of helped steer him, but this is definitely his thing. And so we had all the flowers out, and I'm like, I never use my flowers, all my beautiful flowers. I have tons and tons and tons of these beautiful flowers. I was a hoarding issue for a long time. I saw a flower from Petaloo, from Prima. It didn't matter. I just think they're gorgeous. I'm a sucker for a pretty flower. And I thought, well, let's put it together with a pretty floral card and create a background. But then I have so many beautiful backgrounds of other papers. I'm like, well, let's layer it up and have some fun. And then I also was like, well, I also have a bajillion swirls because that is my other addiction is swirls. So all these crystal swirls, pearl swirls. And so I thought it would be really pretty to kind of tie it all together. So we're going to create 2 other cards today, but different color tones, but the same concept using my, oh, good morning. Everything's so pretty. Oh, yes, he did a great job. I'm just kind of reading what's going on. They are beautiful flowers. Yeah. And so I originally bought them all to go on layouts, but I'm like, why can't they go on cards? So we're using our Spring Fling paper pack, and we are using some of the fun colors. Now, the first one I did, I just picked, it's one of these, it's a floral background. I picked this beautiful gray color. And I copied, obviously there's lots of grays, that's where I got the gray, and then there's these pops of yellow, and that's where I got the yellow. The other colors that I'm pulling from is there's this beautiful blue, and so that's where I got the blue flowers from. Aren't they gorgeous? And then I also am using this beautiful pink one, and I pulled out some pink flowers that I thought would go really well with that. So that's where we're going, and I'm going to show you kind of how we're going to layer this up. Now, originally, my thought process in this whole thing was whatever color is in the background, that's the color I'm going to use for the stencil. And then I'm looking at my 2 paper colors that I picked out. So just to kind of show you. And obviously when I picked the gray, I did the yellow. And then when I'm looking at this, I was originally thinking blue and pink, but there's those pops of yellow in there as well. And the flowers I'm picking are the blues and the pinks. So I thought, well, why can't I do a yellow on top of that too? So I've been kind of humming and hawing about whether or not I should go yellow or blue. The good news is that paper has 2 sides. So if I don't like the way it looks with the yellow, as I layer everything up, we can flip it and do the other color on the background. So it's super easy. That's where my brain was going in all this. Okay, so I had cut everything and then I pushed everything to the side. Crap, what do I do with all my layers? All right, so I have all my paper layers. Let's do the pink one first because I did cut that. This is just a Nina white cardstock, just to kind of show you where my layering is going. I have a huge paper pack of this My Sweet Petunia, and it's meant to go, as you can see, I was doing my stenciling here. I'm just using it as kind of like a background mat. Instead of just using my plain paper, I have this. I figure, you know, once it gets super yuck, I'll throw it away. Okay, so the layers go as follows. This is a standard A2 size sheet card. And then from that, Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you like the paper. It's from Lawn Fawn. It's so cute. It's their new spring fling pack. So cut an A2 size sheet of paper. Some people get into how you fold the cards. To me, I'm more about how I decorate the front of the card. Sometimes I'll do this way. Every now and then I get into like trying to do fun folds and stuff, but for now, this is what I'm doing. Then I cut down and I mat and I go 1/4 inch less. So this is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So this sheet becomes 4 by 5 1/4. And then I wanted to have a separation between, this is the one that we're going to do the stencil on, but I wanted to have a little bit of a separation. So it's just this tiny little hint of that floral paper in the background, just that pop of a color. And then this is what we're stenciling. So this is what I was debating. Do I want to stencil this front one in yellow or in pink? So I don't know. I've got a lot of pink going on. I am bringing, if you look at my original card, I'm bringing a tiny bit of the paper from the background into the front. So when I cut my paper, and I'm going to cut the second one with you guys to show you how to get the most out of your bang of your buck when you have a 6 by 6 sheet. I always have a little bit extra. So that way you can pull out little bits and use them on the front of your card as like accent pieces. But we'll get that in a minute. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I do this in pink or should I do this in yellow? Let's go with my gut and go with the yellow first. And if it just totally sucks, then, we'll go from there. I was playing around with a few different stencils. I really just wanted a geometric pattern. I did not want to have any kind of fancy thing. And first I went with the dots, but it was way too busy. The amount of yellow, because the dots were so big, was so striking. So I instead went with this mesh one. This is one of the new releases from Crafters Workshop. And I did not place it on fully straight. If you notice, I did go at an angle. So I think I will go the other angle this time. And I just have my Color Blocks inks right here, as you can see. Hey, why not? Not quite sure what the hey, why not's in reference to, but maybe the yellow. So I'm going to take just the medium-sized brush. This is the one I used before. And I did wash this with water. I didn't use soap, and it's not coming off. You can tell there's nothing coming off, but it does kind of stain, and that's okay. Brushes get stained. So I'm just kind of dabbing it into the ink, and then I just pounce. You could also brush back and forth. As long as you're holding your stencil firm, it works. Cool thing is that, again, if I don't like this shade, I'm kind of going in rough motions. If I want it darker, I make sure I really come in and go darker. If I want it lighter, I don't re-ink my brush. And that's kind of your thing. And it is really, really easy. I did a test on this particular stencil. If I'm using paints or mediums, you need to soak your stencil right away. Otherwise, it will stick on there. And that's what happened. That's why my stencil is discolored. But the ink, I let sit overnight. It came right off. Just with a little bit of water, whoosh, washed right off. Because this is a water-based ink. This is not a soluble, or this is a soluble. This is a water-based ink. This is a chalk ink. Pigment ink is the way to describe it. There we go. So it's just this very subtle background. Oh, you guys really can't see that on camera because it's so faint, but there we go. Trying to hit that light. There we go. So you can kind of see it now. There we go. It's right there. All right. So let's see how that looks with the pink. I do a lot of this where I will layer things up and decide, is that where I want? Is that what I want to do? Is that where I want to go? So it's bringing in more of that pop of that yellow, but keep in mind, we're going to bring in a little bit more of the pink. Let me get my tape cutter out, and I'm going to cover up my ink before I completely lose that. So just have I know you guys can't see this perfectly. I'm cutting this to be 3/4 of an inch, sorry, 1/2 an inch. That's how long I want them, 1/2 an inch. I'll cut them down to size in a minute. Actually, I think I did them shorter in the previous card, but that's okay. 1/2 an inch is what we're going to go with. I think I did them narrower is what I said, but I think a wider one would work okay as well. So just to kind of give us an idea, do I like the yellow or should I go with pink? I'm still humming and hawing over that. So I'm just kind of laying it down. You know what? I think I'm going to like the yellow because there's so much pink happening. If I added more pink, it would be like, and then I'm adding pink flowers. So let me add the pink flowers on top of that. And I probably am really going to like, yep, yellow it is. Oh, you can see it now. Yeah, you have to kind of play. I have it in my head. Yeah, see, so if I did a pink background there, it would be like, oh my God. Oh, and there's a little thing on that. Oh no, it's just fluff. There's fuzz inside the flower, which made the flower look like crap. So there we go. And I could also switch to do the darker one. That might look really pretty. No, like the lighter one. And then there's also this one. So, ooh, I like that one better than the glitzy one. There it is. And then sometimes with my flowers, I will keep them in packs, but my flower packs are getting kind of squished up in there. So if there's only 1 or 2 left of these, I have like a big old box of flowers that are loose flowers, just the one left. And so I kind of throw it in there, and that's what we were actually pulling for my son's thing, because I use it for all different kinds of crafts. So I think that's the path I want to go with this. Okay, so then it's just a matter of inking everything up. Now, if you look at what I did ink the edges just to bring that extra pop of color, and I inked it all in yellow, and I think I'm gonna do the same thing because there's so much pink happening here. So now, whoops, that's my extra sheet of paper. You didn't see that. I have my little dauber here, and I'm just tapping it. You could use the brush. I just feel like I have a lot more control. You could also pull that out, but I don't want to make this too kind of messy, I guess is the best way to describe it. So I'm just going to ink. I'm leaving that middle one plain. I like that pop of just that white in there. So I'm just inking the edges here. Give a little bit more of that pop of that yellow. There we go. Again, make sure I cover this. This will probably be plenty, and I won't need to mess with it anymore. Grab my tape runner. I knew I had it somewhere. And go ahead and add my layers on. Just layering it up. There we go. And usually, if I've never done this card before, I will come in and I will take a picture of what it looks like, how I did all my layers, how did I line it up, how did I do this, how did I do that. But I'm not as worried right now with that because I have my template right here in front of me. So, you know, solves that problem. I'm making sure that I put my piece, because I have a background here. If you guys have ever wondered what this mat is right here, this is an old calendar that I flipped over, and I'm using the back side. You can just see, here it is. You can just see the hint of my, oh, I'm on the wrong side. Here. You can just see the hint of my black mat on the background. But I wanted to have a nice big space that I could get a little grungy and dirty. It also films really well, just as a heads up. Anybody who does filming, so because it doesn't reflect or absorb the light, it's so neutral, it just kind of leaves it as a blank space, and it doesn't, something about whatever background you have when you're filming affects your filming, and this doesn't affect it one way or the other. And it also is nice, and it works, but I don't want to get it too gross because I could rip the thing off and I'd have one other side, but then I'm kind of done, so I don't want to get it too muss and fuss. Can't really clean it because it's cardboard. I also use like foam core boards and stuff, but they tend to get kind of yuck. So it is what it is. Okay, so then I'm going to, and I'm just going to use scissors for this. I'm just going to trim this up. Originally, I'm just going to eyeball that. There we go. And I want to offset these from each other. Originally, I got my tape runner and did it. So I'm going to put one like that. And then I'm just going to use the guide to the first one, make them the same length. I think for the next card, I'm going to make my strips a little bit smaller because these just feel a little bit fat. I think I did 1/4 of an inch and not 1/2 inch. So I do one down and I do one up, just giving a little bit of something, an interest. It's not too, because everything else is very perfectly lined. And now I've got something that's a little bit off, and your eye likes that better. I am not inking these. I'm leaving these plain. I'm not going to pull out any kind of fancy tape thing besides my normal tape runner. If the first one I do down, the second one I'm going to be doing a little bit more up, but it does not matter the order that you put them in. Just, again, lining it up a little bit disjointed. It doesn't even have to be that far removed. For this one, if you can tell, they're much narrower. I kept within the constraints of the top layer that I had there. All right, I did make one mistake when I made this card. I put down my pearls first. This time I'm going to stamp it first, and I'm going to work my pearls around my stamp because I couldn't get a clear stamp because the pearls were raised. I even pulled the pearls back, but I still couldn't get a decent stamp. So I'm just going to do my best to use this as my guide and go ahead and stamp it. And I'm just using a hand stamp. I could get out my Misty, but I'm being lazy today. It's seriously right behind me, but I don't feel like wrapping it and getting it all lined up, and it's already on my stamp block and everything. So let's see, right about there. We're going to go there. Really get it in there. See, that's better. I couldn't get that top section stamped in. Now I can. Okay, now it's time to get on to the little swirls. I look at my screen to see if anybody's made comments. I'm going to do this off camera so you guys don't hear too much scrunching. But I always look to see, if anybody's made any comments. I realize how messy my desk looks. Do you guys' desks get this bad too? It's awful. It's awful, awful, awful. Okay. But it's how I function, I guess. There's also a ton more crap just off camera. It's really bad. Okay, when it comes to pearls, I don't think I've ever used a swirl exactly the way they've ever made it. And like I said, I was a sucker for buying these things when they first started coming out. Prima was the one, and then there was like Ziva Creative, and then I think Petaloo had some, and then a whole bunch of other My Favorite Things had some. It's where everybody seemed to have pearl swirls or crystal swirls, or then adding flowers to swirls. They were all over the place, and I have a whole container full of them. So I'm trying to use them up now because I still think they're amazing. I think they're gorgeous. Good morning, Penny. How are you doing? And so I have never used one. If you notice, it's too big. So I just kind of went into this and I cut it right smack in the middle. I have never used a swirl exactly the way it was intended, ever. It just has never happened. So if we look back at the original card, I put this little guy down here and I just kind of angled him. Now, because this went into this, I did cut off this little piece right here. And I'm not going to keep this. Like I said, I have so many swirls. I'm not keeping that thing. So this went down here, just like that. And there's really no good way to putting swirls on besides peeling it off and sticking it down. Now, obviously, this card is going to be a card that is very voluminous. It's got some dimension to it. It's not a flat card, which I think is totally cool. I will make flat cards, most definitely. All right, so this is down. And then I am tucking this one in here. And notice my sunshine is still, my stamp, my sentiment is still good. It is the only thing that is black on here, but that is fine. It means it pops out a bit more. I could have done that in pink, but I didn't. So if you were gonna mail this card, then you either have to give it by hand or you could put it in a padded envelope. Another trick, just as a heads up, if you were mailing a card like this, is you can take your card and invert it, and it just protects it a little bit more. I would not try and stuff this thing into a regular size card envelope. You're going to smash it. So now I'm going to peel off my second one. Here we go. And line that up. And yes, am I going to cover up some of these swirls with my flowers? Most definitely. But that's kind of part of the layering and the shabby chicness of this whole thing. And it just looks really pretty. You could totally leave your card like that. I mean, I think that looks smashing. Maybe you could even just do one tiny flower right here if you wanted to, as kind of a thing. But I wanted to add a pair of flowers. I just think it looks really pretty with the pair. And the first card, if you noticed, I did the two tones, the colors. I did the yellow and I did the gray to bring in both. This one, I'm just going to, and for the next card, I'm just doing the single layers of colors. So I have my glue pen here. And this is a Max glue pen where one side actually has a section where you can rub a whole lot. And I have used that to layer cards, but I had my tape runner sitting right here. But for flowers, this stuff rocks. And it's got a lot less chemicals than some of the other ones. There is a coupon code for 10% off. It's also a lower price than a lot of the other glues that are out there. So now I think I went a little higher with my other flowers, but you know what? Where you decide to put your flowers is totally up to you. The cool thing about having a wet glue is you can also kind of move them around a little bit until you decide, yeah, perfect. I do like the bigger flower on top and the smaller flower kind of tucked in, and I like it facing away the smaller flower, meaning I don't like the flowers like this. I want it to kind of come to the edge of the card because therefore it's not impeding with the stamp. Just some thought process, but yeah, look how fast that went. It looks a whole lot more complicated because you're letting the product do the work for you. But look how pretty. Aren't those gorgeous? Now let's make a blue one. They're fun. I think they're just so much fun. All right, and let me show you how to cut, because there's two different ways that you can cut your paper. when you have a 6x6 sheet of paper and you're cutting down for an A2 size card, you know, I always tend to think, well, let's go with the larger measurement first. And because I'm going down by 1/4 of an inch, I would go to the 5 1/4, and look how much extra I have. I don't. But if I cut the 4-inch first, look how much extra. And it's a bigger piece that's extra versus 2 little strips. So that's how I do that. So it's because it's a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. If I'm going to go down by 1/4 inch both ways, I cut to 4 and then I cut to 5 1/4, and boom, there's my card. And since I have my paper trimmer out, I'm going to go ahead and cut. And this time I'm going to do the 1/4 inch cuts, the thinner strips. And then we'll measure the length of the strips. Oops, on the card. There we go. Just like that. Okay. Now I already had my cards. Here we go. Here's all my layers. I had them just off to the side. And go ahead and flip this over. We're going to do the stenciling here in 2 seconds. I like kind of, I don't know why, because I don't want to get my hands all mucky. I'm going to go ahead and fold my cards up first. I have to think about what my layers are here. There we go. And then that goes over there. Lots of extra paper crap that I don't need. And then getting my stencil back out. I'm going to use the same brush. No point in getting another brush dirty. Lift out my ink. And for grins and giggles, because I went 2 different directions on the other cards, let's go straight up and down this time. Just for change of pace. And then just stencil it on. So I have a really cool announcement. I have been announcing it on all my channels. I actually announced it live yesterday. I got in the finals for Fave Crafts Best Blogger. Very cool, right? I have 3 projects. I cannot believe I actually had 3 projects that were picked to be in the top 20 of the finals. And a few hundred different projects went in there. And it's not open to everybody. You actually had to be selected to even be in the contest by going to an event when we were at Creativation. There we go. It's very pretty. Yeah, you're not going to see that. I mean, I'm going to ink that anyway. Just to kind of show you a difference, you could also use the edge of your brush. It's not going to be as stark, but you could use the edge of the brush right here just to kind of add that little bit. So back to the Fave Crafts thing. I like the darker color, so that's why I'm going to just kind of tap that and ink that. I would love your votes. I have 3 different projects. One of them are these canisters that I've etched and added vinyl to and added gold filigree. They're these kitchen canisters that are meant for like flour, sugar, and stuff. So that's one of them. And I did a live video yesterday, so you can see them all in person. And then another one is a die system about how to store your dies. And that video is coming. I couldn't release a whole lot too early about what was coming because they said not to. So they wanted kind of dibs on what was being released. But I can release that video soon now that it has been kind of showed. I can release that and it will be coming very, very soon. And the last one is this boho kind of, it's all these different yarns and trims as like a wall decor piece. It's very, very cool. It's all blue and pretty. So if you would like to go vote for that, I've left the link down in the information section right where you would find all the product supplies, of which, you guys always, link the products that I'm using here. And so if you'd love to go vote, you can vote once a day on each device. So I've been voting on my computer and I've been voting on my tablet and voting on my phone. And then my kids have been voting on their stuff. It's funny is that my kids are like, so mom, if you win, and there's cash prizes. That's kind of the cool thing. And since I have 3 projects, all 3 projects, they're competing against each other, but I also could win multiple times. So they actually have a first, second, and third prize, and then they have a bunch of runner-ups. So there's actually 15 people or 15 projects that are going to win a cash prize, and 5 won't. I'm hoping that my projects don't like cancel each other out and I end up in the bottom 5 and win nothing. That would suck. But it's just the whole thing that it was just cool. The fact that I got 3 projects. There was one other person who got 3 projects. He is amazing. Joe Rotella. He is fantastic. And he did some cool stuff. He has this really cool dragon one. And just, the fact that I got selected to go with all these amazing people. And it was cool. I loved it. All right. So where's my blank one? There it is. So I'm going to put my blank one up there. Sorry. Little soapbox. A little fun thing that I got to do. Yay. Oh, and there is one other announcement. This Saturday, I am hosting a video hop between a few people who went to an event while we were at Creativation. It's called Meet Me at the Show. It was the first year they had this event, and it's all about card making and stamping. And sneaky preview, it's right here. I just did the prototype. Here's the prototype. So there's going to be other versions of this card in the video, and there is a ton of prizes. Simon Says Stamp is donating prizes. Lawn Fawn is donating prizes. European Paper Crafters is donating prizes. Who else do we have? Vintage Girl, and I think there's one other I have to remember. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. I mean, and there's multiple prizes from some of these people, but the fact that there are like gift cards that you can go buy what you want to from Lawn Fawn and from Simon Says Stamp is fabulous. So make sure you show up on Saturday, my normal time that I go live at 8 a.m. And I'm not the only one. There'll be some other amazing inspiration from people and from products that we got while we were at that little kind of meet me at the show thing. So cool beans, lots of fun stuff there. All right, I got to measure this now. Right about there. We'll go there. Just ballparking that. So more chances to win. Yippee! Fun things. Lots of fun stuff. And then National Scrapbook Day. That's another one that I'm doing, another event. And there's some fun prizes from that. That one, oh, we have a ton of prizes from Joggles, Paper House, some other fun stuff. And that is on National Scrapbook Day. That is a live event like we're doing right now. And of course, because it's International Scrapbook Day, there is, it's all about scrapbooking. So I'm going to be scrapbooking it again. I have not scrapbooked in a long time. I love it. That's all I used to do. That was kind of, well, besides when I was a kid and I did every craft I could get my hands on, what kind of got me into the industry and, you know, getting my YouTube channel started and just, you know, working with companies and stuff like that was scrapbooking. So that was years ago. But, you know, I guess I got kind of tired of scrapbooking, or I felt like I was always doing the same thing. And I love doing all different kinds of crafts. So I wanted to branch out, but I still do scrapbook. So I will do another scrapbook page that day. Not sure what pictures I'm picking, pictures. Don't know what I'm picking yet. And I don't know the theme, and I gotta do some homework, but that's in May. That is coming. And it's a live hop where there's a series of us in a row, and each person's got a winner that's during their show. And my son Morgan is going to come and help moderate again. If you guys caught him on our last live video hop, he was a hoot. He was an absolute riot. So that was super fun having him there and, you know, being a part of what's going on. You see my younger two coming in and crafting, but Morgan's, I mean, he does craft in his own way, but I think he liked chatting with everybody. I wonder where the chat bug comes from. I do have another question. Oh, crud, I just got my finger all gross on that ink. I do have another question for you guys. Do you have any techniques that you would like to see in my Wednesday card making videos? I have a few things lined up, so I'm not going to say that I'm going to do them next week, because I do already have kind of a schedule happening of what I have planned for you guys. And sometimes something inspires me. I'm like, I got to do that now. Kind of like the flower thing on this one. I wasn't intending to do this card. I had a different, oh well, that's why I would need my Misty. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's a little bit blurred. I didn't get as good of a stamp, but you know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna, there's no way I can redo that, and I'm not re-stenciling in the whole thing. But if there's a technique that you would like, leave it in the comments or leave it in the live chat. It is up to you. If you're like, hey, I've always been curious about how to do this, or how, Erin, how would you do that? Or, you know, I'd love to learn how to do this. And it could be simple, it could be complex. I will do my best to do it. And I may not do it the way everybody else does it, because it's me. I'm not everybody else, but I'm going to open this down below so you guys don't hear that. It's probably still really loud. Putting up those plastic containers, they're so loud. All right, so now, oh, I got to do the pearls first. Got to open up this too. So just let me know if there is something that you guys want to learn. Happy to oblige. So I love these live events and being able to ask questions. You guys are really like crickets this morning, huh? Okay, I guess you guys aren't really all that chatty this morning. I'll chat for the rest of us. All right, I got to cut this little piece off. So this could be another card that you could mass produce if you have a lot of, it's a little bit expensive. I'm not going to say it's not expensive, because these pearls, but they've been around for a while now. And I am definitely of the opinion of I'm using up my stash. Now, the stamp is brand new. The stamp is from Mama Elephant. I thought this was really, really, really cool because it had some awesome sentiments. It says, "Sweet sunshine of my life." I thought that was kind of fun because there was all the yellow going on here. Have a bright sunshiny day. I really wanted to use that, but it was too long. The little square sentiments fit perfectly in, like in this little nook right here. And that's why I loved it. Oop, these are kind of blown apart. I wanted it to fit right in this smattering of where the two pearls came together. So this one felt too wordy. It just didn't work. And this one was not, it was too long, and I wanted it to kind of go a little more vertical or horizontal. I was kind of picky on my sentiments on that one, mostly because I was trying to have it fit within my design. And when I pulled this stamp set out, I was like, oh, that's perfect. And it fit and it worked and all that kind of stuff. Thank you. I love the flowers too. Oh, you're just crafting along. You're mostly, you can lurk all you want. It's totally fine. Enjoy your cup of whatever. It's all good. I've already had a really super busy morning. I'm sorry I got on late this morning. That is not my, I got really good about doing 9 a.m. and then seems like Wednesdays have gotten crazy for me lately. Last Wednesday, I had to take my daughter to the doctor, and I told you that's why we got on late. I didn't get on until noon last Wednesday because she's been itching everywhere, and we cannot figure out, what it is. And they put her on some medication and had us do a thing, and then a week later, it still wasn't better. So now they're having us, we went to a dermatologist appointment at 7:30 in the morning, and the doctor's office is 20 minutes away. That was from one early, and she's not a morning person. She literally woke up like a bear. Rawr. I mean, she was growling at me. A little stinker. She growled at me. So, and since we were up so early in the morning, I told her, I don't know. Ooh, I almost like those pale colors. I was going to do the dark ones, but then I kind of reached for those pale. Let's see how it looks with the pale. I might have to make one more card just to do the other colors. I don't know. What do you guys think? Anyway, so I had a bear this morning. Oh, that's pretty too. I almost want to make a whole set of just this. I only have one more of that paper though. Okay, now I gotta look because that's really pretty. I love the combination of that blue. How many more of those blue ones do I have? One. Is there two more left? Ha, two. Ha. So I could make two more cards and I could use all 6 flowers. Wouldn't that be pretty? So I don't know. You guys tell me which one. Do you like the one of each? Or do you like the 2 darker? Or do you like the 2 lighter? I am completely indecisive on this because I kind of like all of them. I don't know. I think they all look pretty. It depends on, do you want the flower to be more subdued? What do you guys think? One of each. All right. First person who talked gets the winner. Winner. All right, we're going to do one of each. Now decide, do I want that one of each? Or this? No, I like the bigger one better. That way, if I do another card, I could do like one of these ones, and I could pair those two together. Or maybe the other cards I do the light and the dark, so I get the variation. So anyway, back to my daughter. Because we were up so early this morning and went to the doctor, we're not early people. I very rarely will go to sleep before midnight. I am very, very much so a night person. So we got back, and then I had to get organized, dropped her back off at school, because by the time we got done with that, she still got to school by 9 a.m. Oh, 9:10. It's crazy because we've been up. And we went and had breakfast. I treated her to a breakfast, so she went and got some pancakes. And I had this really cool Eggs Benedict. It's at a local place here in Austin. It's very cool. It's called Kirby Lane. Very, very yummy place if you're ever in the Austin area and you want some good pancakes. And the cool thing about a lot of restaurants in Austin, you're like, oh, it's pancakes and breakfast. They have lunch and then they have a full bar. So you can go in the morning and totally drink yourself if you wanted to while you're having your pancakes. And then a couple next to me, there's a lot of people in Austin that are very granola, very, whole earthy. And that's, I love that. I'm watching them, and they were totally fine in the restaurant if you wanted to bring in your own whatever, along with ordering what they had. And they looked like they were drinking their own kefir. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but they had in mason jars, lids on it. It was looked like milk, but I can't see that they would bring in their own milk. They possibly could. Maybe it was their own version, but it was kind of funny. Oh, funny. Okay, what else we say? The one of each. Oh, you like them all too. That's awesome. I'm reading all the comments now. little life of what we've got going on here in Austin. Okay, let's move that off to the side. There we go. I think got rated something. A friend of mine was posting about favorite places to live in the United States, and I think Austin got rated #1. Go us. So look how pretty they are. So 3 versions of just a little bit of a sampling of different colors of cards. Oh, I'm trying to make these level for you guys, and I have my camera so wonky. It's not quite even. Somehow I messed that up. Sorry for the very beginning if you caught it and I was like blurry with the camera. I decided not to go with the background color of like the pink on the pink, the blue on the blue. Could have done gray there too. I like that pop of that yellow is bringing that other color. You can mix and match your flowers like I did here, have the same colors of flowers. This is a great way to kind of using up some of your flowers and using up some of your things. Cool way of using some of your, I mean, this is totally all stuff I have in my stash. I cannot tell you how long I've had these flowers. At least 3 years. The swirls, 4 years. I think it actually says on the swirls what year they came out. This is what's bad because they put the years on them for a while. I don't know if this one says it. Hey, look, I'm saved. It doesn't actually say the year on here. Sometimes the products will say what year they were released, but I bet you the flowers do. Hang on, I bet this one says it. Yeah, see, 2012. That's more than I thought. Well, I may not have gotten it in 2012, but and this one, let's see what this one is. 15. Hey, it's not so bad. It's only 4 years old. But you get the point. I've had them for a while. But it's nice to kind of pull out some of your old scraps and bits and bobs. And then adding them, the paper pad is new for me this year. So sometimes pairing old things with new things and kind of brings back to life. And something about these are just fun, bright spring colors. And it works. It's really fun. And then a new stencil, but you know, it's a way to kind of bring in, like I said, I've had these swirls and these flowers and I'm using them. Yay, I'm using them. And kind of pairing them with some new fun stuff. So hopefully this inspires you to make some fun cards, even though they're dimensional. Some people are like, no, don't like dimensional cards. It's okay. Just think about some people want hand-delivered cards. It's totally cool. And it just kind of makes them all that much more pretty and elegant instead of just flat, flat, flat. There's nothing wrong with a flat card. I make a ton of them, but sometimes getting some dimension can be cool too. So if you guys have any comments about ideas or techniques that you would love to see me do in my Wednesday card making series, I'm game for just about anything. You guys know I do mixed media, I do clean and simple, I do coloring, any techniques that you guys have, anything you're curious about. I can't say I can absolutely do everything because I may not have the supplies, but I will do my best. So if you have any of those things that you love, let me know. Like, hey, I'd love to see you use this product or this technique or try this concept or, you know, you do this theme or something like that. I will do my best to fit that in. And then also, please don't forget to vote. My link is in the information section for my best, for the Fave Crafts Best Blogger contest. I have 3 entries, 1 vote per day per device, and it's through the 23rd. So please go vote. I would love your vote. Yay! And then don't forget to come back. I mean, I have videos going up almost every day, but on Saturday is another chance to win some amazing prizes from Simon Says Stamp, European Crafters, Lawn Fawn, Vintage Girl, some really fun stuff that's coming from a lot of these companies, and some great inspiration for some more crafty stuff, including cards. But a couple people did something very different, so that's kind of cool. Using pretty much the same kind of supplies. We were all charged with using a die, a couple of stamps, an ink, you know, just some very basic stuff that you guys might have, but kind of going in a different direction with them and seeing what we can make. So, yay. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to wind this down. Hope you guys have a great day. It's still pretty early. At least it's not quite even 11 o'clock here. So look at that. And enjoy my cards today. And I will see you guys soon. Bye-bye, everybody.